is the Louie T Network.
Louie T Live. Who else could it be? But me, your me, Louie T. Welcome to Winners and Losers, Week 9 edition. And I apologize for the tardiness, but my girlfriend saved the day again. Big ups to my girl, because for the second straight week, I was contemplating not doing the show. My car kaput on me tonight on the way home from work. My radiator died, and had to get it towed home. So that put a pretty big damper on the day. And I got home and I left all my notes in the tow truck, and he left. So I had to meet up with the tow truck driver, and it was a mess. And at that point I was like, hey, you know what? Today's not my day. And my girl said, hey, look, what do winners do? They win. Go out there and win. So here I am, winning again. So, thank you, babe, for those words of wisdom. And so we find ourselves here on Winners and Losers. Again, late as hell. But as I always tell you, even late, still great. So hopefully your week 8 picks were as good as mine, because it was another easy week. And like I told you last week, I hate weeks like this, where everybody gets a participation trophy. Everyone gets to feel great about themselves. Nice confidence building week for those of you who took full advantage. This was a chalk week. To be honest with you, you had no business losing more than 2 games this week. Honestly. 3, okay. I could see how you could lose 3. Really, I don't, but okay. 3, fine, whatever. You still got double digits. Really, there was no reason to lose more than 1 game. That was the Thursday night game. If you were smart, all the rest of the games were pretty cut and dry, self-explanatory. No upsets this week. No surprises. Everyone that was supposed to win won, with the exception of Thursday night, Baltimore and Miami. I think that's pretty safe to say. So if you just was like Spike Lee and you did the right thing, then you went 12-1. If you didn't, and you went out on a limb and tried to be special, then you may have lost another game or 2. If you lost this week, I don't know what's to become of you. If you couldn't manage double digits in a week where it was chalk up and down the sheet, shame on you. Shame. In any event, I'm not here to chastise. I'm here to improve quality of picks for all. And so, without any further ado, first of all, if you haven't already done so, subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content in 2017 and beyond. We're changing the game over here. I want you to help us do that by simply hitting that subscribe button and becoming a member of the Louie T Network. I've got a number of social media platforms. You can see them right there, all right, on that little TV screen in front of you. There's Twitter, there's Instagram, there's YouTube, there's Facebook. All of the links to those different social media platforms down below in the description of this and every single video that I do. So go ahead, follow me on all of those social media platforms. Turn on your notifications so you'll know exactly when I'm going live. Yesterday was a live bonanza, as I went live like 3 or 4 times because there was so much going on in the National Football League. And you know your man Louie T's got you covered like a blanket. And so make sure you turn on those notifications so you won't miss a thing. That being said, if you can, I urge you to donate to the Louie T Network. Those are the ways to do so, via Patreon and PayPal. You see those links in front of you? Both of those links also down in the description below. So check those out as those are the ways to donate. And I greatly appreciate all of your contributions, no matter how big or small. I appreciate them all. And to those who have already given, thank you so much. Those who continue to give, I can't thank you enough. Your gratitude has not fallen on deaf ears, and I thank you again. So with that being said, let's jump into the picks this week. And before we can move forward and get better, we must first take a look back at what we did to learn from our mistakes and get better. So as we always do, we start with the winners here because, like I always say, we let the losers worry about losing. Who cares about them right now anyway, right? Let's talk about the winners. That's what we like doing here. And we got a special winner this week. And before I even disclose who it is, I just want to say to this individual, why can't we be friends? 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 Finally, we can be friends, Joe. Welcome aboard, my man. And Joe's like, man, I don't want to be your damn friend. You've been talking trash about me for the last month and a half. That's because, Joe, you haven't been a winner, man. I told you, I want to be your friend, man. Can I be down with you, Joe? Because if you're putting up numbers like this, yes, the first perfect week in Louie T Network history. Now, there's a caveat. Okay, 13-0 is exceptional. We've never had an O in the right-hand column. So for those of you out there watching, y'all give it up for Joe Sharp. All right, my man Joe, the knife was sharp. He's slicing up picks left and right, knocking them down. Joe was extremely sharp. Not a dull knife in the drawer with Joe this week. However, I liken it to the 14-0 Dolphins, right? The only perfect team in NFL history. We celebrate that every year because they're the only ones that ever finish the season with a 0 in the right-hand column. However, it was a 14-game season, right? If a team ever goes 16-0 and wins the Super Bowl, they're going to be decorated and celebrated in a way we've never seen before because that will exceed 14-0. You get what I'm going with this? If the Patriots would have completed the 18-0 season and been perfect in 2007, would have totally shattered what the Dolphins did. We wouldn't be talking about 14-0 Dolphins. We'd be talking about 18-0 Pats. So while this is a great accomplishment, and I'm not poo-pooing it, I'm just saying, if someone were to go 14 or 15, or even, dare I say, 16-0, which I will never, ever see happen. I don't think I'll ever see anybody go 16-0. It's just too tough to do. But in any event, if someone were to do that, it would blow Joe's 13-0 out of the water. But for right now, you're the only one in that category, okay? When we say, name all of the participants on the Louie T Network that have ever went undefeated, there's only one name, and it's Joe Sharp. So, Joseph, you, my man, are the man this week. Celebrate! Joseph went 13-0. Now, it was an easy week, but nobody else did it. And no one else has done it in the past. So, give it up for Mr. Joseph Sharp. Everybody. Hell of a job, Joe. Dilly dilly. As we get to us mortals, because we're not worthy. We're not worthy. Joseph went 13-0. So the rest of us were just all mortals, okay? It's your world, Joe. We just squirrels just trying to get a nut. Pause. So let's go to the people that actually aren't perfect, like my man Joe. And that's 12-1. Still a hell of a week, right? You're not 13-0, though. You're not Joe, though. I know. I know. In any event, Sin Day Co. 12-1. Nice week for Sindeko. Again, another one of these cats steadily moving up quietly. Shh, don't tell nobody that Sindeko is moving up the charts. But if I'm not mistaken, he's cracked the top 10, I believe, with this 12-1 week. So leapfrogging some people and entering into that elite zone of the top 10, which is sacred here on winners and losers. And so you keep putting together weeks like that, you'll go from top 10 to top 7 to top 5, and then you'll be within striking distance of the number 1 spot, which is what it's all about when it's all said and done. Sad Colts fan, my man, great job. You got the memo. Don't pick your team when they stink. You get it. You understand. See, you have to do something that a lot of other people don't know how to do. Share the wealth, man. All right. You get it. So share with other people. Show them the way. Tell them it's not okay to continue to pick your team when you know they're not going to win. You see what doing the right thing does? Gets you 12-1. That's a hell of a week, sad Colts fan. And again, you keep making picks like that, there'll be nothing sad about being a Colts fan. Okay? Because you'll be winning. They'll lose. Okay? They'll continue to lose, but you'll be winning. And there's a lot to be happy about when you win. They're losing. You're going to win. Just remember, do the right thing. You did the right thing this week. Look where it got you. Continue to do the right thing, and you'll be moving up the charts here on Winners and Losers. Brandon Sullivan. Y'all letting a new guy come in here and show y'all how it's done. Respect to Brandon Sullivan. I think this is about his 3rd week sending picks in, and already 12-1 in it. Come on, bruh. Stop it. How you going to show up all the veterans that's been doing it all year? How you just going to show up and go 12-1 on these cats, man? That's not right, man. That's wrong, man. But if being wrong is right, then I don't want to be right. Right? Right. That's how you do it, Brandon. Show these clowns how it's done, man. Tell them, I don't need 10 weeks to warm up. I'll show you how to do it in 3. 12-1 in it on these clowns. Hell of a job, man. Hell of a job. And of course, rounding out that group, yours truly. I'm starting to heat up. I told you. I'm on that microwave shit, man. I'm heating up. And some of y'all think it's okay, but every week I'm chipping away. Y'all think it's okay that you go 11-2 and 10-3. I'm chipping away. Last week I was down 6 to the leader in the clubhouse. Now I'm down 4. Every week I'm inching closer and closer. Here I'm coming. I already told you. Here I come. I'm not going to keep telling y'all. I'm not going to say nothing else. You just going to look up and you're going to just look behind you. Damn. Where you come from? I'm going to be right in your goddamn face. Damn, where you come? Back up a little bit. No, it ain't no back up. Excuse me. Move out the way. Coming for what's mine. So those are all your 12-1ers. So we move on to the 11-2 cats. Not bad. 11-2, not bad at all. Like I said, if you just did the right thing, 12-1 is what you should have got. Joe was extra special. He actually picked the Ravens and then did what he was supposed to do the rest of the way. 11-2 means you picked the Ravens, or excuse me, the Dolphins most likely, and then you went out on a limb on another game, which is fine. There are a number of close games, and a lot of you probably picked Houston, and they almost won. Had Bill O'Brien not been conservative at the end of the game, they probably do win that game, and you're not 11-2, you're 12-1. But that's the way the cookie crumbles, and so you're 11-2. It's all good. Still good work put in by Andrew Kim. My man AK, still up there in the top 5, putting in work. As a matter of fact, I think he's in the top 3 if I'm not mistaken. But in any event, we'll get a look at the overall standings in a little bit. But AK continuing to heat back up after he went through a little bit of a rough patch. He started to put in that classic AK work that we're accustomed to. BE still the leader in the clubhouse. If I'm not mistaken, this has been a straight month of BE having the crown on his head. And he continues to put in quality picks. And the one thing that I think will end up being his downfall is he loves picking his team. And if he doesn't learn sooner rather than later, it's going to come back to bite him. I'm going to catch him anyway. It'll just happen a lot faster if he continues to pick his team as they're not any good. But in any event, BE continues to be the leader in the clubhouse, and with weeks like 11 and 2, going to be hard to unseat him if he continues to put in weeks like the one he turned in week number 8. Smoking Jay, I told you, man, follow me. I'll show you the way. And I told you, if you want help, I got you, bro. And it looks like you took me up on the offer. Put down the drugs, man. Say no to drugs. Remember, did you have the DARE program growing up? I did. All right. We had the DARE program. I don't even remember what the hell it stood for anymore. But it'll come to me at some point. Drugs Awareness Resistance Education. That's what DARE stood for. Hey, say no to drugs. Good job, Jay. You see how those picks? It's amazing. When I watch Intervention, I don't know if you guys watch Intervention. When I watch Intervention, it is amazing just how good these people look after 30 and 60 days off of drugs. They look like a totally different person. You know what your picks look like after you put down the smoke? They look like 11 and 2, a totally different sheet. I need you to continue to stay off of the stuff, man. Because this is what you do when you're clear-headed. When you're level-headed, this is what you do, man. You put in work. And I like that. Eduardo O'Neill. My man Eduardo, quietly. This is the quietest Eduardo has been. And this is the best Eduardo has been. Eduardo every week is turning in quality picks. Quality work from Eduardo. And every time I look up, Eduardo's up around the top 10 somewhere. And I'm like, whoa, didn't expect you to be there. But he's quiet, man. The man is going about his job human-like. Just putting in quality picks week after week. Eduardo continuing that string of quality picks with another outstanding week of 11 and 2. BK Soldier 2010. He's been coming on of late. Had a strong week last week. Even stronger week this week. BK Soldier starting to step his game up. And with his Jags playing better football, he's now making better picks. There's some kind of connection there. He's out. He's been really good of late. And another person that is slowly ascending towards the top. You know, at the end of the day, the cream is going to rise to the top. Keep rising to the top. That's what the cream does. Give it all you got. Give it all you got. That's what the cream does. It rises to the top. And eventually, we'll weed out all the funnies, man. They'll fall to the bottom like oil. They'll go straight to the bottom. BK Soldier 2010 really starting to look like he's cream. And he's starting to rise to the top, man. Some quality picks over the last few weeks has that man starting to make some moves in the overall standings. J-Cam Man 99. Fresh on the scene. I think it's his second or third week. And this is quality work right here, man. 11 and 2. I think last week he was, I want to say, on the loser side of things, which for his first time, ain't nothing wrong with that. He might have been a winner last week. Let me check right now and tell you what exactly this man did. Yeah, last week he was 8 and 7. So this is a nice bounce back week for J-Cam Man 99. And we're going to see now. That's 2 weeks for this young man. And so now, next week is going to start to establish the book on J-Cam Man 99. Because we've got 1 week of mediocre, 1 week of excellence. Now next week is going to determine what this man is all about. We get another, and I think we got 13 again next week. So we get a 7 and 6. Then we know, all right, this guy's really more so on the mediocre side of things than excellence. We get a 10 and 3, 11 and 2 again. All right, this dude is for real. So we're going to find out a lot about J-Cam Man 99 next week. Leo Cease. Leo Cease last week, because I think he's been doing some good work. 11 and 2 last week. And no, that was 11 and 2 this week. And last week he was 12 and 3. I told you he's been putting in work. And I don't know where he is in the standings. I don't remember seeing his name, but with weeks like that, and I remember a couple of weeks he's been just putting in work week after week after week. And so it wouldn't shock me if he's in the top 20. I know he's not in the top 10, but But it wouldn't shock me if he's in the top 20. Even I go a step further and say it wouldn't shock me if he's in the top 15. He's been outstanding over the last month or so. RJ West starting to turn things around. Remember, he didn't know what way to go. Left, right, north, south, east, west. He didn't know where to go. North, east, southwest. He was lost. But I think he's been found. And now I think he's heading in the right direction. I think that's 2 straight weeks for my man RJ West. Last week he was 11-4. This week he's 11-2. I think he's figured something out. Now these last 2 weeks have been cupcake, but I don't care because there's still people who don't get it right. There's still people who aren't in the winner's circle. So even though it's easy peasy, lemon squeezy, you're supposed to still go out and get it done. And RJ West did that this week. Caden Boyer also with a quality week. And last week, I think Caden was really good last week too, if I'm not mistaken. He was... Nope, he was 9-6 last week. So nice bounce back week for Caden. Get you to the winner's circle. He's not familiar with this territory. This is not where he normally resides. So he's kind of a fish out of water over here. So if you guys could take it easy on him, he's a little bit, in shock because he's not used to winning a lot. Just treat him like a normal citizen over here in Winnerstown, in the winner's circle, and don't make him feel like an outsider. If you do, he'll probably revert back to what he knows, which is losing, and go back to Losersville. So treat him nice, be easy on the young kid, and see if he won't stick around or not. As we keep going on, Carmen Rana, remember, we are 2 weeks removed from Carmen Rana going nuts, like 14-1 or 13-1 or something ridiculous. Yep, it was last week, 14-1. So we're just a week removed from Carmen Rana going nuts. And in the week prior to that, he was like 5-9. So, it's the up and downs of Carmen Rana. But like I said, this guy's always around the mix. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Carmen Rana, when you go 14-1, you're going to be around the top 10. And he puts up double digits. Every now and again, you'll get a stinker in there from him. I told you, he fluctuates from week to week, but he puts in work too. And quietly, 11-2, followed up that 14-1 gem that he served up last week. It's what this man does, which is what I've come to expect from him. Good, bad, indifferent. Carmen Rana usually is around the top of the leaderboard when it's all said and done. My man, FBG Tony, he called his shot. That man stepped up to the week 8 plate and said, 11-2, here I come. And then they threw the pitch. Bow! Knocked the 11-2 right out the park. The man called his home run. Called his 11-2 before he got it. That's respect. And this is more along the lines of what I expect from FBG Tony. And he said the spirit of Protect 428 lives within FBG Tony. I'm starting to see that come to fruition because the Protect 428 that I knew, that guy didn't lose often. FBG Tony looks like he's starting to get into gear. As we go to Tank 3281, good to see him back to his winning ways because he had fallen off the wagon for a little bit. Last week, 11-4. This week, 11-2. So he's starting to get back into the rhythm of things. And he's another one of these cats that you don't pay a lot of attention to, but Tank be putting in some work too, man. So awesome display of knocking down the gimmies. Don't miss the bunnies. In the last 2 weeks, Tank 3281 has not missed the bunnies, going 11-4 and 11-2 in the last 2 weeks. Sean Mack, the Mack attack. He's not accustomed to being on this side of the circle. All right. Normally, he's in the loser side of things, but he generally never drops below 9. 9 is his floor, which that's the scary part with Sean Mack. The floor is 9. He's not going any lower than that. When the floor is 9, that means the ceiling has anywhere in the vicinity of 13 to 14. That's scary. When a guy is gonna, at worst, give you 9 dubs, and at his best can get you 14 or 13 wins, that's scary because while everybody's going up and down, up and down, up and down, this man is just kind of steady Eddie, steady Eddie. And that's what he's been this season, and that's why he's among the best on winners and losers. And so when he can get 11-2, that's an outstanding week for him, because he usually is more than content with his 9-4 on a week like this with 13 games. He'll take 9-4 and keep it moving. But this week he said, "Nah, I'm gonna step it up a bit, take 11-2, and I'll go back to 9 next week, maybe. Maybe we'll see." Young Melo, I told Young Melo more shots up in the gym. It's basketball season. I expected him to turn it up, and he has. All right, I told him just show up on time for study hall. That'll give you more time in the gym. He's done both, and you're seeing the fruits of his labor starting to pay off, man. It's paying off huge dividends. He's been outstanding the last couple. As a matter of fact, last week, Young Mel was 10-5 last week. Follows that up with 11-2. So, like I said, man, bitch, you want with Young Melo shooting in the gym? Huh? You want with Young Melo when he was shooting in the gym? And you can see he's in the gym putting in shots and putting up work, and now it's paying off 11-2 for my man Young Mel. Dark Sealer 1995. He's up and down. Last week, Dark Sealer was 9-6. So like I said, up and down for Dark Sealer. He could definitely use a double-digit week. I think there's more good with Dark Sealer than bad. So we're going to see if he can be a little bit more consistent. That's been his problem all season, is consistency. Last week, 9-6. This week, 11-2. We'll see what he does. 13 games again. It's tough to get double digits with just 13 games, but the games were so easy. A lot of us found it not very hard at all to get the double digits. I'm challenging you guys. Another 13-game slate. Tough to get double digits. Can you do it again? And that challenge is especially to people like Dark Sealer 1995, who have been very inconsistent this season. Disco Jump Rope with 11-2. Last week, Disco Jump Rope was 11-4. So last 2 weeks combined, 22-6 for Disco Jump Rope. That's impressive. Can you keep it up? And I said this, I think, last week. I want to see what Disco Jump Rope does when the going gets tough, because these last 2 weeks, cupcake. All right? Cupcake. Nice and soft and moist. Sink your teeth into them. Easy money. I want to see when you got to go out and make some toughies to get your double digits. When you got to go out on a limb and go get you some toughies, man. You got to bite into a cookie that was cooked a couple of minutes too long, and maybe it's a little crunchier than you're used to. Not soft and moist like these cupcakes. A little tough, a little rough around the edges. Can you still get double digits? That's what I want to see from Disco Jump Rope. That's the challenge. And I think this week, coming up, looking at those games, I think you're going to have to make some TDs. Nope, not touchdowns. Tough decisions. Are you going to make the right ones? You're going to see. Mr. Silent Nation has been loud over the last 3 weeks to a month. He's been outstanding. The man has packed his things up from Loserville and relocated to the winner's circle. And I don't know if he plans on going back. I'm more than happy to welcome him to the neighborhood. But he looked at me and said, "Bruh, I was here before you. What you talking about?" I said, "Hey, don't trip though. My house is bigger than yours. And I got a bigger yard than you. And my grass is greener than yours." He said, "Fair enough. But I'm not moving out. I didn't ask you to. So it's all good." But Mr. Silent Nation, man, look out for this dude. He's been putting in massive amounts of work of late. And I'm going to tell you what, I've been really impressed. After a slow start, the nation is no longer silent at all. Faux show. As we move on to the last group of winners, the 10-3 cats. Matthew Lynch told you he only shows up for easy weeks. I suspect next week Matthew Lynch won't send in picks because I expect this to be a much tougher week. Hence, Matthew Lynch will not send in picks. I'm calling it right now. If he's watching, that should be a little bit of a challenge to him, and I expect him to send me picks. But if he's not watching, it'll be just like him to not send in picks for the next 2 weeks and then show up when it's an easy 12-2 week for everybody, and he'll show up and get 11-3. That's what Matthew Lynch has done this season. Pepe the YouTuber, 10-3. Pepe's been pretty solid over the last month or so. Last week, Pepe was 11-4 last week. So yeah, Pepe's been pretty rock solid over the last 3 weeks to a month. And I can appreciate that. He's been getting better and better and better, and he finally hit his stride, and he's another guy that hasn't really looked back since hitting his stride. Travis B showed up on the scene last week, had a little bit of an ominous start to his winners and losers career, was in the presence of losers last week, but made that a short trip, made the little trip and trek up the street to winner's circle, and I don't know if he's staying. He could be a visitor. He could be on vacation. We'll see. Again, small sample size. So we'll find out about Travis B and what he's really about next week. Because now we've got two, just like I talked about earlier with J Cam Man, we've got 2 weeks. Big discrepancy. Loser 1 week, winner the next. Next week is going to tell the story. What are you? We're really going to have a book on you next week. After a 3rd week of playing, we'll know more about what you are, Travis B. Last week, you were 9-6. This week, you're 10-3. And so, we're going to find out a lot about Travis B and what he's about come next week. Broncos kid. Wow, long way up. Hell, he couldn't go down. Couldn't go any further down than where he was just a couple of weeks ago. Remember, he was a Piss Cup ultimate just 2 weeks ago. 3-11 for the Bronco kid, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going back in the archives. Yeah, Bronco kid 2 weeks ago. 3-11. Piss Cup ultimate. And from there, 2 weeks later to 10-3. So you're talking about one of the biggest turnarounds in a 2-week span that we've seen on this channel. And so big ups to Bronco kid for getting it done. Great job. Can you keep it up? That's the question. I'll give you a little bit of an advice as well, and I'm going to check real quick just to make sure that I'm not wrong here. I'm going to give you a little bit of advice, though. If you want to stay in the winner's circle, stop picking your Broncos, man. Don't do it. Only pick them when you know they're going to win. You knew they weren't going to win on the road in Kansas City. Stop. Just a little bit of advice. Just a little bit of advice. Now, if you want to be bullheaded, I got to pick my team, go right ahead. Go right ahead. But when you get another one of them 3-11s, don't look at me. Nonetheless, Cloud. And skies have been pretty dark for Cloud this season. But for his Eagles, they're on cloud 9 right now. Couldn't be sunnier outside for his group. But in terms of his picks, they've been pretty dark. Just like it was on Sunday. On the East Coast, pretty rainy. A lot of his picks have been getting wet. But he turned it around. 10-3 this week. Last week, Cloud was 10-5. So we're starting to see Cloud see the dark skies part, and the sun is starting to come out for Cloud. Because prior to these last 2 cupcake weeks, it's been a struggle for my man Cloud. So good to see him on the up and up. We'll see if he can continue because, like I said, I think there's going to be a much tougher week coming up. And I'm anxious to see how people who took full advantage of these last 2 weeks, how they do now that it's really about to get serious. Brown Shoe T2 continues his outstanding surprise year. If Brown Shoe T2 was an NFL team in 2017, he'd be the Los Angeles Rams. Nobody, and I mean no, not even Brown Shoe T2, expected to be where he is in the standings right now. And his consistent play has just floored me this season. I keep waiting for the bottom to drop out. I keep waiting for that aha moment. Taste the soup. Taste the soup. Aha. Aha. There's no spoon. Where's the spoon? I keep waiting for that moment. With Brown Shoe T2, it hasn't come. And I don't know. At this point in the season, I can honestly say I don't know if it's coming. Maybe this just is who he is this year. Maybe there is no drop-off. Maybe there is no fall from grace. Maybe he's just good. I'm happy for him. I'm happy for him. He's not going to finish better than me. He's ahead of me right now. But like I've already said to all the people ahead of me, I'm coming. You can't run. You can't hide. Because Louie T is coming for you. And that includes you, Brown Shoe T2. But keep up the work, man. You've been putting in just outstanding work this year. I'm just amazed. AJ Shadow 11 jumped on board about a month ago. And that's good work. Last week, AJ was, AJ was 12-3 last week. So AJ 23-5 over the last 2 weeks. So AJ quietly coming in, and you keep putting in weeks like that, you're gonna shoot up the board quickly. You're gonna bypass all of the non-participants who are down at the bottom, and then all the cats that are struggling in the mid portion of the winners and losers overall standings, you're gonna shoot by them. You keep putting up weeks like 12-3 and 11-2 and 10-3, you're gonna shoot by all those cats. So AJ Shadow putting in work quietly, making power moves. So is Cartoon Novak PG-13. Last week, Cartoon Novak was 10-5. This week, 10-3. Right now, he's got it stuck on 10. And to my recollection, 10 is double digits. Is it not? So right now, Cartoon Novak in 2 weeks is 2 for 2. Now, it just happened to be 2 of the easiest weeks. But what that says to me is he's breaking ground on a new house in the winner's circle. Now, I still see the for sale sign on the lot. But I see him with a shovel digging up dirt as if he's ready to start building a house. Is this serious? Is this for real? Or is that lot still for sale? Is someone else going to move into that lot? We're going to find out. But Cartoon Novak right now, these picks, buddy, they're definitely PG-13. Everybody. This is for everybody. Okay? Everybody can watch. Everybody can look at these picks and tell. That's good work. It's when you start getting to the TV MA, that's when we get worried, because that's not for everybody to see. Those picks can get a little grotesque and gruesome. When they're PG-13, hell, everybody can watch. Alex been better of late. I think Alex just came on board last week. And last week, Alex was 10-5. And so 10-3, he's another cat that's looking to break ground in the winner's circle. And again, I'm looking at the vacant lot. It's a beautiful vacant lot. I still see the for sale sign. I'm not sure if you're moving in there or not, if you're building a house or not. We're going to find out. I still need more from you, Alex. I'm not totally sold. Much like Cartoon Novak, last 2 weeks have been the 2 easiest weeks. I think this week is going to be a little bit harder. So we're going to see what you're really about. Ha! Ha! Last week, Hawk needed last week like a man in the desert needs water. Like a man out of jail needs a little bit of trim. Hawk needed last week bad. Hawk took advantage of this week too. I got a word of advice for you though, Hawk. You my boy. So I'm gonna tell it to you like this. Stop picking the Redskins. I'm only gonna say it to you once. Because you my boy. We go way back. All right? Stop picking the Redskins. I'll tell you when it's okay. It's not safe to go back into that room right now. Don't pick the Redskins. You got me? We cool? I know it hurts. Stop picking the Redskins. All right. Let's move on. Money Miz 14. Last week, Money Miz went 10-5. This week, Money Miz goes 10-3. So you can start talking again, Money Miz. You know what? I take that back. Don't say nothing until after next week. These have been 2 cupcake weeks, and you've been living dangerous the last 2 weeks. So now, I'm going to give you one more week to be silent and prove your worth. And if you step up to the plate and do it again next week, double digits for the 3rd straight week, then you can start talking your talk again, man. I miss that. I miss it. I miss the back and forth trash talk banter between me and you. I need that in my life, but I don't want it to be one-sided. I'd much rather you say nothing if you're going to stink than talk trash and just give me the easy way out, just to absolutely murder you on this program. So I prefer you to keep it quiet if you're going to stink it up. But if you're going to put up double digits, man, I need you chirping again. I need it. Colton Campbell, quietly, CC, he's been doing it up. Not going to lie to you. Last week, CC was 12-3. The week before that, CC was okay, I lied. He was 5-9 a couple weeks ago. Hey, man. It's okay. No, 5-9 is not okay. I lied. Again. And in any event, let's forget about the past for right now. 2 weeks of double digits, right? They've been easy weeks. So you seem to be like some of these other cats. When the going gets tough, you run. You tuck your tail and you run. So the challenge to you, much like some of these other people that I've talked to already, is get it done. Get it done. It's about to be real. This week, week 9, not for the faint of heart. Some TDs to be made. 5-9. Not going to do it. It's only 13. So if you want it, you're going to have to work for it. Toe nice bounce back week because last week was rough. And last week was an easy week, but yet still, Toe was 8-7. So 10-3, nice bounce back week for my man Toe. Also helped that his Packers didn't play because he wasn't forced to make a TD. Now you got to make a TD this week. Packers are back in action. Everyone will be watching Monday Night Football. Who you got? We'll see. And we move on. The Mister. Mister is just visiting, man. Mister is just visiting. He does not live in the winner's circle. And as a matter of fact, I had somebody call me up the other day and tell me they drove past his house in Losersville. They said all the lights were out, and I said he must be on his way to the winner's circle. He must have took a trip out there. He'll be back. If you could do me a favor, go get all of his mail. Hold on to it for me. And I'll let him know when he gets to winner's circle. I'll let him know that you're holding on to his mail for him when he gets back to Losersville. So, hey, mister. I got off the phone with Dark Fierce Fire Gaming. He drove past your house in Losersville. He said he got your mail for you, man. When you go back there next week, go to his house, pick up your mail, go ahead to the crib. Got it? Cool. But it's good to see you, man. I don't get to see you often enough. We should kick it. If you're ever in town again, come look me up, man. And that takes me to Ginger Callum. Ginger Callum. I think Ginger Callum has taken full advantage of these last 2 weeks. I think last week Ginger Callum had double digits as well. Ginger Callum was 11-4 last week. Ginger Callum had been struggling up until that point. So much like my man Hawk, Ginger Callum couldn't find the winner's circle on a map. He couldn't even put it in the GPS and find the winner's circle. But a couple of easy weeks, and all of a sudden, Ginger Callum in the winner's circle a couple of weeks. I'm curious as to whether Ginger Callum, like I've said with a couple of cats here that have taken full advantage of these last 2 weeks, and you barely took advantage of it this week. I'd be a lot more receptive if you were 11-2, 12-1. But you were 10-3, you barely made it over here. So then now the question becomes, as a matter of fact, let me check something. Because I think you did something really foolish, which really surprised me. Yeah, you picked Detroit. How could you? Matter of fact, you deserved to not be in a win. How could you go against your own squad in a game that they were supposed to win? And they did win. Was it pretty? No. Should they have lost? Maybe. But that wasn't a game we are definitely going to lose. But I commend you for having the balls to go against your team. But you actually have a good team. So you don't have to do that. Unless it's like a serious road game against a team where you're like, okay, we probably shouldn't win this game. Ben's out. Le'Veon Bell's out. We're going to struggle. Okay, I get it. You had no business going against your team against Detroit. That being said, kudos to you for going against your squad and still getting 10 wins. Big ups. See, can you do it again next week? And so those are all the winners. Man, one more round of applause for Joe Sharp, man. Joe Sharp, everybody. Sharpness. 13-0. First time ever on the Louie T Network. Great job, Joe. Hey, we friends? Hey, we friends, man. As we move on to the losers, we let the losers worry about losing. Time to address these losers, man. We started 9-4, just a bit outside. These cats just missed the winner's circle. Big John, 6'4", 5'8". Things haven't been the same since Big John missed a week. Or I thought he missed a week. He showed me that he didn't miss a week. But he was bad that week, and he's been pretty mediocre ever since. And Big John was hot early. I mean, hot every week in the winner's circle. Big John's cooled off a little bit. And so I'm a little worried. I'm not going to lie to you. My concern level hasn't hit orange yet. It's at yellow. But I'm concerned nonetheless. See what you got. And I did make the change to your overall score. So the picks that you screenshotted me that I saw that you did post, I did add that to your total. So there's that. Dark Fears Fire Gaming. Man, that was a short trip, bruh. You're back from vacation. I thought you was going to stay a little bit longer. You told me you was going to stay 2 weeks. You know what this man told me? He said, hey, I got rid of all the numbers of all the cats in Losersville. I'm not friends with them no more. I said, hey, it sounds good, man. So he called me up. He was like, hey, man, I ran out of money. Had to come back home. I said, hey, cool, do me a favor. Get the mister's mail while you're at home. Pick up his mail. Hold on to it for me. When he comes back, he'll be back next week. Pass off the mail to him. He said, hey, no problem. You know I ain't going nowhere, man. I'm back home in Losersville. Hey, welcome home, man. That's not my home, but welcome home, man. Good to see you back where you belong. Squints. Say it ain't so, Squints one. I ain't gonna tell you no more, man. You know what I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say it to you. Because you in front of me. So I'm not giving you no more clues, no more pointers, no more information. I'm not saying it to you no more because you tell me the same thing every time. I'm not saying it to you. I'm just gonna say this to you. Get the hell out of my way. You're in the way of me getting what's rightfully mine. Get out of my way. Thank you. Couple more weeks like this, and you will be out of my way. So just keep doing what you're doing. Ricky Lemmeyer. Rick, what'd you do last week? Let me check you out. Thought you were pretty solid last week. Yeah, you were 13-2 last week, Rick. What the hell happened this week, bruh? This was just as easy as last week. How the hell you managed to go 13-2 last week and 9-4 this week, bruh? Now, still, that's a great 2-week average and a 2-week total. That's 22-6. But damn, I would have rather you went 12-3 last week and 10-3 this week for that same 22-6. That's more impressive than 13-2 and 9-4. Can you tell the difference? You should be able to. In any event, stop losing games you're not supposed to lose. That's how you ended up 9-4. There's no other excuse. This week was just as easy, or last week was just as easy as the week before. Come on, Ricky, man. Ricky! Come on, Ricky. Jaleel, I thought we had an understanding, man. What happened, bro? We had a long talk last week. You said you were over all of the losing. We had come to a nice understanding. I had told you were gonna go. What was it? 5-8. What did I say last week? 5-9. And you said I'm not going 5-9, and then you promptly went 5-9. Was it 5-9, or was it 6-8? 6-8. I said, "Hey, you going 6-8 next week?" You said, "No, I'm not. I'm not going 6-8." And then you promptly went 6-8. Then we had a talk. We had a long talk, man. We aired out a lot of the dirty laundry that we had. It felt good, man. It was like therapy. And then you turned around and went 12-3 after that talk we had. It was beautiful, man. And then you turn around this week and forgot everything we talked about, and you went back to your losing ways at 9-4. I don't get it, Jaleel. I don't get it, man. I thought we were here. I thought we had a connection, man. But obviously, I was wrong. And you know what's the worst thing somebody can say to you? You know, the worst thing that a parent can say to a child? You know, you can fuss at a child. You can bust some ass when you need to. But you know, when you look your child in the eye and you say, "I'm disappointed in you," that shit stings. It stings. Because they know being mad and upset, being disappointed is worse. Because that means you know better. You were taught better. You know what, Jaleel? I'm disappointed in you. I'm disappointed. I have nothing else to say to you right now. Kevin! Kevin! I ain't even gonna say nothing to Kevin, man. Kevin! I'm gonna just... Really, Kevin? Really, that's what we're doing, 9-4? In a week where you shouldn't have lost any more than 2 games? 9-4, that's what we're doing? You know what? You deserve to be left home alone. Kevin! I can't with you, man. I can't. 8-5. Let's move on to some more losers, man. Isaac Snook. Man. Isaac last week went 10-5. And I thought that since I fixed his name, this was going to be a brand new start for him. A whole new world. A whole new world. Thought it was going to open up new doors and avenues for Isaac Snook. No more losing because it was no longer Isaac. We had left Isaac in the past. We left Isaac in week 7. Week 8 was great. We left Isaac behind in week 6. Week 7 was outstanding. And then we show up for week 8. And it's back to being Isaac. Except it's Isaac. But he's back to his old Isaac tricks. If I knew you was going to do that, I would have just left it as Isaac, man. Isaac is for winners. Isaac is for losers. What's it going to be, Isaac? You're going to be Isaac or Isaac? Which one is it? Because right now, Isaac lost. See what I did there? No? Yes? No? All right, don't worry about it. Vegeta's dark side. Damn it, man. I thought I just talked to you too. I thought we agreed on Vegeta's bright side. I said, show me the light. I thought you were going to show me the light. And one day you will see the light, baby, once you understand what you mean to me, darling. I thought you saw the light. I was wrong. Your heart is still dark. And hell is hot. Worst ever. I give up with you. I can't read you worst ever. One week, your picks are the worst ever. The next week, damn. You're phenomenal. Then you're back to being one of the worst ever. I don't know what to make of you anymore. I really think you belong in Losersville. I'm starting to become convinced that you like trying to keep up with the Joneses. Like you one of those people, you move into a neighborhood knowing damn well you can't afford to stay there and your house broke. And at some point you realize I can't afford to live here. I'm out of my lane. It's the rent, the mortgage is a lot more affordable in Losersville, man. Doesn't take much to stay there. It doesn't take much. I think you belong in Losersville, man. And it's okay. I've said that before. It's okay. Atlas. You still reeling from that 3-11. That ultimate piss cup. You were the first ever recipient of the ultimate piss cup. And while you have bounced back, you've had some a good week or two since then. It's still lingering effects. You're still having flashbacks. This was an easy week. There was no reason, no justification for 8-5, except you're scarred emotionally from 3-11. And it's okay. It's okay. I get it. You need help. Seek counseling. You need to talk to somebody about that 3-11. I know you're still having nightmares. Jaguars, Browns, 49ers. Oh my God. Cardinals. Wake up, man. It's all a dream. It's okay. You can be fixed. You can win again. But you just need help. Put the past behind you. I'm going to change your name. I think that's what we need. We need a change of visibility. We need a new, fresh start. So next week, you're just Atlas. I'm going to crown you Atlas next week. And we're going to see if that is what allows you to put the past behind you and start anew. How about that? Sound good to you? Let's do it. Let's move on. Ep.17.9. I'm going to tell you like I told my man Hawk. And let me just check real quick. Just to make sure. Let me just check. All right. So I'm going to tell you like I told my man Hawk. Because you're my boy. We get down. Because we family. and you always hate to see families struggling. So take this little bit of advice as like a 20 that I'm slipping under the door. Like, here's a little bit of gas money. I'm going to slide you this Dubsky, okay? Stop picking the Redskins. I will tell you when it's safe to come out. Right now, go inside, lock the door, throw away the key. All right? Stop picking our boys. Okay? You got that? It'll help you get out of ruts like this. I know you're better than this. You're loyal. You're a loyal soldier. I know. I'm telling you, it's okay to put down the sword and the shield. It's okay not to fight right now, man. This is not a battle worth fighting, worth dying for. Don't fall on your sword. I know you're a good soldier. Put down your shield and your weapon. Don't fight this, man. It's not worth it. All right? You're better than 8-5, bro. J-Moo, I'm going to tell you, like I just told them. All right? Because you family. And again, I hate to see family struggle. All right? When you hurt, I hurt. Because we family. So I'm going to tell you like I told Hawk. I'm going to tell you like I told AP. Stop picking the Redskins. Don't fight that battle. This is not your war to fight, bruh. Again, you another loyal soldier. All right? And I get it. You on the front line. I get it. But you don't have to sacrifice yourself for the good of the team. It's not necessary, man. It's not. Know when to fold them. Know when to fold them. No, not know when to hold them, know when to fold them. Know when to fold them, know when to fold them. It's time to fold them. There'll be times where you can hold them. Right now, we in folding mode. Stop picking the boys. Come on, J-Moo. Get your act together. Come on, J-Moo. Get it together. All right. Mr. TNA, late comer. Good to see you, though, bruh. I know it's like 2 in the morning over in Romania right now, so you probably... No, I'm lying. It should be... I don't know what the hell time it is. I'm not going to lie. It's probably like 6 in the morning over there. In any event, I know you're not watching this live because you're probably sound asleep. But it's good to see you, man. But I'm going to tell you like this. Just because you my boy, not cutting you any slack. That's some bullshit right there. 8-5? That's straight garbage. For you to just show up and come at me with 8-5, that stinks, man. I'm going to need you to get it together. You can either send me pics or not send me pics. And if you're going to keep sending me funksters like that, I would prefer you just kept our relationship at a distance without pics. Because I hate to see you struggle like this. Because there was no reason for 8-5. None. Not this week. At all. And we go from the 8-5 cats to the 7-6ers. Woo-wee! Look at that funky. Look at these funky picks here. Boy, you were just one away. Just one more loss away from the Mendoza line. And in a week where only 2 losses at worst was the soup of the day, you guys managed to go and get 7-6. How? I told you I let the losers worry about losing. I don't even want to know how you managed to get 7-6. How you managed to lose 6 games in a week where somebody went perfect. How you managed to lose 6 games when Joe Sharp went 13-0. How? I don't want to know. Tucktown. You know you live over here in Losersville, man. You are one of the active leaders in the community in Losersville. You're a part of the neighborhood watch community, leadership group. You're well respected in Losersville. So I'm going to let you keep doing what you do. Kanye the God. Bruh, there's no place like home. Sing it. There's no place like home. This is where you live. All that money, and you decide to live in Losersville. I can't explain it, but I'm not wanting to tell another man what to do with his money. I don't know what you do with your money. Maybe buy a couple gold chains, maybe some ice. I remember one time you told me, I got a problem spending before I get it. I think that's why you live in Losersville. Hey, I'm not one to judge. PD Pablo, last week you were outstanding, bro. Last week, you were 13-2. SpongeBob, what happened to my picks? I don't know, PD. I don't know what happened to your picks. But how do you go from 13-2 to 7-6? That's why I can't mess with you, PD. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry. Be careful, PD. I'll do better next week. I don't care. I don't want to hear it. Save your excuses for somebody else. I don't want to hear it. MJ Mayor 10. Last week was your first week. You went 11-4. I asked you, were you for real? I said, well, I expect you back because you went 11-4. But is this who you really are? I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, just like I did the other two participants that are in week 2. And I'm going to tell you just this. 1 week of excellence, another week of mediocrity. Next week, if you decide to come back, because after 7-6, you may say, I don't know if this is for me. But if you decide to come back, the book will be out on you. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You're not going to fool me a third time. So we'll figure out what you are next week if you decide to come back. If you don't, I don't blame you, okay? It's okay. You won't be the first, nor will you be the last to be scared off by mediocre picks. So we'll see what you got next week if you decide to come back. In any event, now we get to our Piss Cupper of the Week. Yikes. MC8989. And you know what's funny? Is the first week MC8989 came, he went 7-7. And I said, hey, bro, I've seen cats like you before. You might not be back next week because you got off to such a rough start. You know what this man came back and told me? Hey, bro, not only am I coming back, put some respect on my name. I hear you, bro. What did he do that next week? 7-7. What did he do this week? 6-7. So you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to put some respect on your name. You know what I am going to do? Put some piss on it. Just put piss all over it. You, my man, enjoy the piss cup. You want some respect? Respect is not given, it is earned here on Winners and Losers. You want me to give you something? Give you a piss cup for your piss poor picks. That's what I'll give you. So no, I won't put respect on your name. I'll put piss on your name. Enjoy. And that, my friends, are your winners and losers from week number 8 in the National Football League. I'll take a quick break, and while I do, I'll let you comb through the overall standings. Find your name. All right, we're back. And now it's time to get to some comments. And after that, I will give you my winners for the week. And we'll get the hell out of here. All right, let's see what we got. John Perez says, what is your overall assessment of Mitchell Trubisky so far? I know John Fox won't let him throw the ball that much because he has no receivers, but he has shown flashes of promise. I haven't been overall impressed. I told you that it was going to be hard for him to elevate the level of play around him because there's just not a ton of talent. That being said, he has shown athleticism, had a nice run against the Saints last week. We've seen him throw on a run. His first start against the Vikings, I thought he did a really good job of getting out of the pocket, throwing on the run. So he has shown, like you said, some flashes of some things that we knew he could do coming out of North Carolina. But that being said, small sample size. I mean, he had a game where he only had 9 passing attempts. So I don't expect a ton of it from him in his rookie season. But he's getting experience. I was opposed to it initially. But if they're going to continue to run the football as well as they have this season with Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen, then he can start because, like I said, he offers them something that they didn't have with long neck, Mike Glennon, and that's the ability to escape the pocket when nothing's there and use your legs to extend plays and pick up yards, that Glennon wouldn't be able to get because he's a statue behind the center. So Trubisky does give them the best chance to win, I believe, but I haven't been blown away, and some of that is just product of his environment. There's only so much that he can do. John Perez says, I know this is a football show, but I got a basketball question since I'm also a big b-ball fan myself. What do you think of this LeBron James to the Lakers in 2018 stuff? Oh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. His wife was checking out schools in L.A. It's going to happen. This is his last year in Cleveland. He's done all that he can do for the Cavaliers. And he's going to take his talents elsewhere. The question then becomes, do the Lakers want him? I know that's a crazy question to ask, but do they need him? I'm pretty sure the Lakers would take him. Like you don't say no to LeBron James, right? Like if he says, I want to come to your team, you go, right? You say, yeah, okay. How much is it going to take? What's the check that we got to stroke? So He's going to L.A. though. I don't think there's, unless something drastically changes, like they win a championship this year, I think he's gone. John Perez says, too early to talk about free agency, but do you see Jimmy Graham, Kelvin Benjamin, and Sammy Watkins joining the Chicago Bears next year since all their contracts are up after the season? As it's been explained to me, Kelvin Benjamin's fifth-year option has been picked up. So I think that he actually has an extra year in Buffalo after this season. Sammy Watkins, I don't know. Again, like you said, it's too early because of the three that you mentioned, the only one that I could see on the outs is Jimmy Graham. Because I just don't see him back in Seattle after this season. So we'll see what happens. All right, John Perez says, switching back and forth between Mavs and Clippers in the World Series. Dennis Smith Jr. is having a solid game against the Clippers so far. It looks like Houston is going to win. Yeah, I haven't watched one game of baseball. No interest whatsoever. And like I heard game 4 or 5 is like one of the greatest World Series games ever. Good, great. Yeah. And Dennis Smith looks like he's going to be a stud, but we thought he was going to be a stud coming out of NC State, so it doesn't surprise me. In any event, let's keep it moving. That's enough basketball talk for the night. Let's see. Boy, I just skipped a bunch of comments. Hate when I do that. Oh, well, that's as far as it'll let me go back. All right, here we go. Sorry if I missed your comment. They just wiped out a ton of comments just now. Sean Mack says, then what team would I be then, bro? LOL. You're so consistent right now. I would look at you and I would say, you're the Minnesota Vikings. Doesn't matter who's at quarterback. Doesn't matter what running back is in the backfield. I pretty much know what I'm going to get from week to week. Tough defense, an offense that's going to move the football, and most likely score enough points to win. If you were an NFL team, you'd be the Minnesota Vikings right now, Sean Mack. That's who you would be. All right. Eduardo O'Neill says, I'm just here so I don't get fined. Hey, bro, you've been so quiet. Like, it's crazy. I'm used to you talking about your Lions back and forth and, you know, every now and again throwing in a little bit of trash talk. But you've been so quiet but so steady this year, man. Maybe the quiet approach is what you need. And maybe you just need to keep showing up so you don't get fined. John Perez says, what are your thoughts about Robert Griffin III's beef with Santana Moss last month and recently saying the Redskins didn't fully commit to him? You know what? Robert Griffin is a sociopath, is what you call people like him. He refuses to accept blame for things that he has done. A lot of the things that led to his outs in Washington, he still doesn't feel like he's culpable for. I think he's starting to admit to certain things, but he's still delusional because he still feels like everybody was against him. For him to say that the Redskins were non-committal to him is insane. They gave up all of those picks, and they forced him on 2 different coaching staffs, essentially. He ran one out of town. The next guy came in. He didn't want to play him, but the organization said, you got to play him. They even gave this man, they picked up his 5th-year option. For what? At a time when he didn't deserve to have his 5th-year option picked up. Like, they were committed to him. He just wasn't any good. And he ran the 2 guys out of town that would have maximized his talents and prolonged his NFL career in Mike and Kyle Shanahan. He did that. The 2 guys that were going to make you an NFL star, you ran them out of town. You told them what you were and weren't going to do. And so I believe Santana Moss. He's got no reason to lie. Santana Moss said he was bragging about getting Mike Shanahan ousted as head coach. I believe him. Because Robert Griffin III seems like the type of guy that would do something like that. And Santana Moss has been nothing but upstanding in D.C. He's never lied. He always takes up for the guys in the locker room unless you're a douche. Well, Robert Griffin III was a douche. So he told the truth. Peace, Pep. BE says, hey, Louie, we need some new challenges up here. 4 straight weeks holding this crown. This shit is easy. Going to make it 5 weeks in week 9. I told you I'm coming for you. I can't speak for nobody else. You know, and you may hold this thing for the next 3-4 weeks. And it may be a slow death for you. But I'm coming. So, it's cool, man. Enjoy it while it lasts. That's all I can tell you. Enjoy it while it lasts. FBG Tony says, bro, why you do the mister like that? I'm just keeping it real, man. That's all I'm doing. Reese says, Chris Baker is starting to piss me off, Louie. Runs his mouth faster than he runs to the sideline after every play. So now you're getting some of the pain that Redskins fans felt over the years. He was never that bad for us, but he loves to run his trap. He's got a really big mouth. I mean, literally, his mouth is huge. It's like a third of his face. And he loves to run it. And we got nothing but love for Big Swaggy here in D.C. Would love nothing but for him to come back. But the reason they didn't extend him a contract is because, 1, he didn't like to practice. 2, he loved running his mouth. And 3, his play didn't always back up the amount of talking that he used to do. So he's your problem now. Deal with it. Ezak Schnook says, got that late night stream going. Yeah, man. It was a rough day. Not going to lie to you. Thought about canceling on y'all. But the show must go on. So I'm here. Sean Mack says, I should be in second place. Only like 2 or 3 games behind at Brian Emerson. Coming for your ass, BE. I got that bird shot for you. My country ass feeling like some stew. Laughing my ass off. And you are in second place there. You are right around 2 or 3 games behind BE. So he should be feeling the heat right now. I haven't turned it up on his ass yet, though. I haven't turned up the heat on him yet. See, he's not afraid of you like he should be, Sean Mack, because he knows you're going to be around 9 wins every week. He should be afraid. But when I turn it up on his ass, when I come knocking on the damn door, oh, he going to answer that bitch, or I'm going to kick it in. So he may not be feeling the heat now, but he going to feel it soon. FBG Tony says, Dark Fears Fire Gaming. Damn, bro. Why? Your visit in the winner's circle was pretty short, fam. Lacking ass. Hey, it was quick. It was brief. It was all the ways you describe something that is very short. I thought he was going to stay a little bit longer, but, you know, he lied to me. He told me he got rid of all the numbers of all the people in Losersville. Why you lie, though? You ain't got to lie to me, man. You ain't got to lie to me. You ain't got to lie, Fears. You ain't got to lie. Buddy Biz 14 says, hey, Lou, you ever consider doing a fantasy league or Soul Survivor as patron perks for next year? If so, take my money now. I've actually got other patron perks that Patreon perks that, and I've been previewing this for like the last 2 weeks. I've just been really busy on the weekends. I'm gonna put out a video, but next year all of that stuff is coming back. Soul Survivor, you know I've done Soul Survivor pools in the past. That's coming back. Everything is gonna be live next year. It's gonna be lit, and it's gonna be crazy, no doubt. Sean Mack says, my Browns will win on Sunday, bro. It's our bye week. Yeah, man. Get you one. Get you one. Ricky L says, I stupidly took the Chargers and Lions. Need to do more research on the weeks that I work on the weekends. Hey, man. Good research is good work, man. I mean, you need it. It's a necessary evil. Don't just willy-nilly by the seat of your pants pick teams. That's how you get L's. That's how you end up 9-4 instead of 11-2. Blackbird Blitz says, LOL, I think we need to send child services to Louie T's residence. He is straight abusing lab room kids right now. I don't even know what y'all talking about, but I'm going to take y'all word for it. I probably was acting up. Sean Mack says, people so far up Watson's butt they forgot he threw 3 interceptions. Look, man, I'll take 3 INTs when you throw 4 touchdowns. If Bill O'Brien would have had the confidence in him to let him throw it on 3rd down, those 3 interceptions along with those 4 touchdowns, which he set an NFL record for the most games straight with 3 or more touchdown passes, and he tied Kurt Warner's NFL record for most touchdown passes in a rookie season to start your career. Yeah, he did all of that, and he would have had a win in Seattle had Bill O'Brien just said, hey, man, on 3rd and 5, we're not going to just run read option. We're actually going to let you throw it to Nuke for a 1st down. So he says, I'm a little salty about that loss. Should have been a win, bro. It should have been. You're right. And you would have had your upset pick come to fruition. But it is what it is. I was close. I said it was 6-something in Romania. I appreciate that, Sean Mack, because my boy, Mr. TNA, always get up here and, at some weird times because, obviously we're not on the same time schedule. So, in any event, Sean Mack also says, I'm telling you, Lou, Kanye has all that silicone up in his brain and it's affecting his brain. He needs to get out of that family. They done turned an Olympian into a chick. Get out, bro. And you heard what he said, Sean, Kanye the God, man. He trying to spit some knowledge to you, man. JCamman99 says, to me, I'm the winner if the Bills win every time. Let's go, Buffalo. Louie, love all your shows, man. Keep up the good work. I appreciate you supporting the channel, and please continue to support. And hey, I know how you feel when your team win. Usually it's insignificant what the win-loss total is. I mean, you still want to win. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you want to win more than you lose. You want to be in a winner's circle. But if the Bills win, everything feels good. I get it. John Perez says, Dante Fowler had a good start to the season for the Jags. What are your thoughts on him so far in his NFL career? I thought Dante Fowler Jr. had explosive edge pass rusher written all over him if he could just figure out how to play the position. Because at Florida, he was a loose cannon. He was a freelance guy. He was all over the place. You could see the explosiveness, but he was allowed to just run around and make plays. Early in his career in Jacksonville, of course, he started off with the torn ACL. Then the next year he came back. He was undisciplined. He picked up a ton of penalties. He wasn't listening to the coaching staff. He was a loose cannon. And the light bulb started to come on last year. And you can see the explosiveness. That's always been there. But can he learn how to play the position? Can he set up tackles? Because he only had a fastball. All he knew how to do was just be explosive up the field. I said, if he ever learns a spin or a hard outside back inside counter, he's going to be dangerous, and he's starting to put it together now. I think the sky's the limit for this guy because the beauty of what's going on in Jacksonville is everybody on that line, all 4 of those guys, at any given time can get to the quarterback. So if he wins up the field with pure speed, the quarterback can't step up because Calais Campbell and Malik Jackson are collapsing the pocket. And now they're going to have Marcel Darius there to collapse the pocket as well. And so you can't step up. And so now Fowler and Yannick Ngakoue are now reaping all the benefits of being able to just beat tackles off the edge with pure unadulterated speed because you got guys in the interior that are collapsing the pocket. So I think the sky's the limit for Dante Fowler Jr. to be honest with you. Ricky L says, I jumped 20 spots with 9-4, LOL. I'm telling you, man, you put in work, and even though 9-4 isn't the greatest, just imagine how much further you would have went if that was 11-2 instead of 9-4. Let's see what else we got. We just skipped a bunch of comments. Here we go. Sean Mack says, I'm riding my floor of 9 wins all the way to the top. Y'all can keep bouncing around, but I'm going to always be near the top. Everyone wants me on their team, bro. We going to see. We are going to see. Brandon Sullivan says, I think Wilson has a great chance at the MVP. Fans so high on Wentz, but the stats aren't that far apart yet. Wentz has 60-plus more yards and 4 more TDs and a passer rating of 1% better. We're going to see. The difference is when it's all said and done, the Eagles might mess around and be 13-3, and the Seahawks might mess around and be, 10-6, 11-5, and that's going to be the difference. Wentz right now is the media darling, and you know how that goes. And so while Russell Wilson might quietly be putting together a good campaign, if Wentz continues playing the way he's playing and they continue to win, Russell Wilson doesn't stand a chance. Ree says, which NFL team would I be? Well, you haven't sent in any picks, Ree. So you're just the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now. You're just 2-5, bro. Kevin says, how is Josh Gordon going to do with the Browns, and who is going to start, Ajayi or Blunt? Well, Blunt wasn't starting anyway. So in my mind, Ajayi is going to get the starting reps. How many carries will he get? I don't know, because there's only so much of the playbook that he can get in a week's time. But Ajayi is going to start, no doubt about it, because Blunt already wasn't really starting as it was. And as far as Josh Gordon goes, I'm over him, man. He hasn't been good in like 3 or 4 years. So the last 2 times I've seen him on an NFL field, I didn't see the guy that lit up the NFL, led the league in receiving, or was close to it with like 9 different quarterbacks throwing the football in Cleveland. I don't know where that guy is. Haven't seen that guy. And until I do, I don't concern myself with Josh Gordon. Reese says, yo, what up, Lou? Family business this week. Although it's hard for me to call the Saints family because I abhor them. He said they're red hot. We always seem to give Breeze a hard time, though. You guys are the one team that seems to go into the Superdome and win quite often, but this is not the same Buccaneers team that would go in there confidently and come out with a W. So we'll see what happens. BE says, I ain't afraid of nobody's actions. He said, nobody. Actions speak louder than words. You want this crown, come and take it, but you bet your ass if you want it, you're going to have to fight me for it. I love it, BE. I love it. And trust me, I'm more than willing to fight your ass and take it from you. Trust me. And when I do, you're going to give it to me. You remember Waterboy? When Coach Boyu went over to Coach Klein, and he said, or was it the other way around? He said, yeah, Coach Boyu went over to Coach Klein, and he said, son, I need this green notebook. Now, if you don't give me this book, things are going to get awfully physical around here. Now, and you don't want that now, do you? And he let the book go. That's what I'm going to do to you. And you're going to be stomping in your heels, talking to your mom on the phone with the cord disconnected. Talking about, I just hate him. Remember I said that. Reese says, we had 7 total sacks in 7 games, Lou. Unreal. I told you. I asked you before the season, who getting pressure on the quarterback, man? I asked you that. And you tried to give me a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo. It is what it is. All right. John Perez says, do you think Ndamukong Suh will ever get a long suspension for his reputation doing dirty things on the field? He'll have to do something really egregious to get suspended for a lengthy period of time. Like, all of his stuff is pretty pedestrian. You know, he does stuff that just annoys people. Yeah, some of it is really dirty, but like, he's never, okay, I won't say that because he stepped on a man's balls before. So I won't say he's never done anything egregious like Albert Hainsworth did, you know, stepping on a man's face essentially. But he's done some pretty grotesque things on the field. And yes, he's a dirty player, but he usually walks that fine line between should you suspend him or should you just fine him. Like, he hasn't done anything really egregious. If he would have choke slammed Ryan Mallett, that would have got him suspended. But he just choked him a little bit, man. Just choked him up a little bit. You remember when he tried to choke me in Smoke's backyard? You remember that? That's all he did was he choked him up a little bit. He didn't let him go. So I don't think. We'll see. Reese says, did you comment in the Phil McCarron, the Browns deal, Lou? That's so Browns. I just left it alone, man. Everybody had jokes, and everybody else's jokes were so funny. I didn't need to pile on. I just thought everybody else's jokes were so funny. I just let everybody else handle that, man. Y'all handle my lightweight. I didn't even need to comment on that. Everybody said it already, so I don't need to say it for the 357th millionth time. That's that Brown, you know, that's the Browns being Browns, or that's the Browns browning, or whatever they've been saying. It's so Browns. I mean, what more you want me to say? MJ Meyer 10 says, I was stupid and picked the Texans, Jets, and Redskins. Truthfully thought all three could win. Jets had a legit shot. Texans almost won. Redskins, you were wrong for that, but maybe you didn't know better. So it's not like you were that far off, but you shouldn't have picked any of those teams. The one that I cut you some slack on was the Texans. And I could understand the Jets, really, because the Falcons weren't playing great football and they had lost 3 straight. So I understood why you would, you know, want to go Jets, but it's still the Jets, and realize that, and that should have been enough to get you to pick the Falcons. But it's all good. You live and you learn. Reese says, Bill O'Brien is a hack. I don't think he'll be Houston's head coach for much longer. If they don't make the playoffs this year, I think you're right. Vegeta's Dark Side says, will Josh Gordon play this year, or will he just be on the scout team kind of thing, like Martavis Bryant? I don't know. I honestly don't know what the situation is in Cleveland, how they feel about him. I told you I don't concern myself with Josh Gordon, because the last time I seen Flash Gordon, he didn't look like Flash Gordon. He looked like Josh Gordon. So until I see Flash Gordon come back, I don't concern myself with him. BK Soldier 2010 says, did you hear about the rumors of the Jags and Eagles having interest in Megatron? If so, what are your thoughts? I talked about that yesterday on the NFL trade deadline video. So you can check that out. I really didn't elaborate on the Jags angle too much, but it's pretty much the same premise that I said about the Eagles. So I did talk about it. I can briefly pretty much give you the skinny on that, though. The Jags, just like another 16 teams in the league, think they have a shot to win the Super Bowl. And they're not wrong, because it's so wide open. And the Jags are the best defensive team in the league this year. And so they look up and they say, we get a guy like Megatron to go with our run game, and he could be the difference maker. Similar to what Philadelphia feels. We got good receivers, but we got a chance to get a great one. We can push all our chips to the middle of the table. We can win a Super Bowl. Jags feel the same way the Eagles do. And for that matter, the way 14 to 15 other teams around the league feel. We got a shot at winning the Super Bowl. Everyone's got a chance this year. Let's see. Sean Mack says, Bills are 4-0 at home and 1-2 on the road. Jets are bipolar as hell. Which Jets team shows up, because they can drop 30 points on your ass? You are absolutely right. Cloud says, if the rumors are true about Megatron, that tells you how the Eagles feel about our outside receivers. I told you I didn't love him. Torrey Smith's a one-trick pony. What has he done this year other than catch touchdowns, long touchdown passes? Much of nothing. And Alshon Jeffrey, I told you, he's slow. He doesn't run great routes. He is physical and big, so he does give you that. Like you saw in the 49ers game where he was able to jump, get the football, push the corner down, and run for a touchdown. He can do that. But is he a guy that you love? No. You don't love Alshon Jeffrey. You like him. That's why you signed him to a one-year deal. Because you like him. You don't love him. John Perez says, quick draft question. When LSU's Arden Key leaves for the NFL, which team would he be a great fit for? There are a number of teams that could use a pass rusher, so hard for me to answer that question right now because I don't love answering draft questions when it's not draft time. Excuse me. FBG Tony says, Josh Gordon is the biggest moron in NFL history. Effing idiot, bro. I'm not going to call names. I don't know his situation. You know, it's been a struggle for him. I'm not going to criticize the man. I wish nothing but the best for him. And so we'll see what happens with him. I wish him nothing but the best. I hope he has an epic comeback story. It'd be great. Vegeta's Dark Side says, at the midway point, who is winning the Super Bowl? I can't tell you, man. This league is so crazy right now. I can't even narrow it down to 4 teams in each conference. It's that crazy. So it's hard for me to say. FBG Tony says, almost in the top 20. Next week, hopping on that first page. And in 3 weeks, I'm hopping in the top 10. That's the spirit, man. That's the Protect 428 spirit that I know. BE says, bet. Only thing I'll give you is at least you tried trophy for coming in second place. Sean Mack says, Lou found his cook crack. He's been lit all video long. FBG Tony says, if I show proof that I sent picks for any weeks that you think I missed week 2, can I get the games or at least 8-8 for those weeks? So what I've been thinking is for those of you who have missed a week or 2, if you've sent me picks, and I think I'm going to make it like 6 weeks in a row, I will go back retroactively and fill in one of the weeks you missed with a average week, whatever average is for that week. So if there were 15 games, I'll give you 8 and 7. If there were 14 games, you'll get 7 and 7, so forth, so forth. If there are 16 games, you get 8 and 8. So that was what I was thinking about. But obviously, if you have proof that you sent me picks in any given week that you didn't get credit for, if you can screenshot me a picture of your picks being there, then we can talk. And I will fill it in for you, absolutely. But Reese says, Waterboy's killing them. Best tackle I've seen since Joe Montana. He said, did you see? He said, Joe Montana. He said, I said Joe Montana. You guys, he said, Joe Montana was a quarterback, you idiot. I said Joe Montana. You guys are stupid. Love that movie, man. Love that movie. Anyway, moving right along. J Camman 99 says, I picked the Bucks to have a really good season at the beginning. I'm officially over that. I never thought this was going to be a good year for the Bucks. And I caught a lot of flack from Bucks fans for that. And it is what it is, man. I stay strong to my convictions. And I proved to be right on this one. John Perez says, do you see Jason Peters returning for a final season in Philadelphia, or is this year it for him? My Eagles fan friend loves Peters, and it would be a crushing blow. It depends how the Eagles proceed moving forward. If in the offseason a left tackle falls in their lap, or they go out in free agency and go get a left tackle, then it may be it. The writing may be on the wall for Jason Peters. If they do nothing at that position and they expect him back, then I think he'll be back. FBG Tony says, bro, we should have traded for Big Ten. That would have been lit if we did. The Steelers didn't want to trade him, and I really wasn't on board with that because he's one suspension away from indefinitely being suspended, and we need a tough guy at receiver. I don't think Martavis Bryant is a tough guy. Mr. TNA, what's going on, man? Didn't expect to see you. Good to see you, man. He says, I had a 8-5 week and it was horrible. Last week, anything less than 10 wins was bad. You're correct. That's why I was so hard on you. Cloud says, I know. I'm talking about the delusional Eagle fans that thought we would be killing corners this season. I know our receivers are really what they really are. Torrey drops the ball too much. And he says, Alshon is a number 2 receiver. They're okay, though. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. BK Soldier 2010 says, if Josh Gordon can get reinstated, then can Justin Blackman? Does Justin Blackman want to play football? I don't know. Mr. TNA says, agree, Lou. Straight garbage. Next week, I'm going for 10 wins at least. That's the spirit, my man. Looking forward to it. Reese says, are you an Adam Sandler fan, Lou? What's your favorite movie of his? Man, I used to be the biggest Adam Sandler fan. As a kid, I recorded all those movies on VHS, starting with Happy Gilmore. Love. I wasn't a big Airheads guy, but Happy Gilmore, and I wasn't even a Billy Madison guy. But that was a good movie. It just wasn't my movie. Happy Gilmore for me was the peak of Adam Sandler. It started the peak of Adam Sandler. And I thought that he maxed out at Big Daddy. For me, there was a 3-movie stretch from Waterboy, Wedding Singer, and from Waterboy, Wedding Singer, and Big Daddy. That you couldn't get it any better. That was the best you were going to get out of Adam Sandler. Waterboy, Waterboy, and you could throw Happy Gilmore in there, really. So Happy Gilmore, Waterboy, The Wedding Singer, and Big Daddy. But I wipe my own ass. You can't tell me that those 4 movies, I would put those 4 movies up against any movie out there that's funny except Coming to America and Friday. I'll put them up against any movie out there. Those movies were hilarious. My favorite Adam Sandler movie is Wedding Singer. It's like 1A, you're splitting hairs, 1A, 1B between Waterboy and The Wedding Singer, but I got so many quotables from The Wedding Singer. God, I love that movie. But anyway, Michael Thompson says, are you based in Washington? I'm in Virginia. So I'm part of the DMV, but I'm in Virginia. Mr. TNA says, this week I will start picking against the Bucks. Just wait and see. They will start winning when I go against them. You know how it goes sometimes. See. And Mr. TNA says, some Dolphins fans are delusional for thinking it was a good trade with their running back. To me, a Ajayi trade sounds like Chip Kelly trading LaShawn McCoy in Philly. How do you see it? They had problems. It wasn't quite like Chip Kelly trading away LaShawn McCoy because Ajayi has been inconsistent. He'll go off for a 200-yard rushing effort and then have 53 yards the next game. Like, he's been inconsistent. They've had problems in the locker room with him. They were fed up with him. So I didn't have a problem with it. I thought they could have gotten a 3rd-round pick instead of a 4th, but they just wanted to rid themselves of him. So, yeah. it is what it is. I think they'll be fine, but they're going to miss Jay Ajayi. They're going to miss him. I don't think they have a back on the roster right now currently that can do the things that he was able to do when he was at his best for them. Reese says, did you see Mr. D's, Lou? I thought it was hilarious. I didn't love Mr. D's. It wasn't as bad as Little Nicky. Little Nicky was his worst movie ever. But then he went, when you start having kids, and we've seen this with all the great comedians, when you start having kids, you go soft. And he started to do stuff like Spanglish and Click. And, then you got the movies with all the little kids in it. I forgot the name of those movies. They made like 2 or 3 of them with Chris Rock and all of those guys. He's not the same guy anymore, obviously. But when he was at his best, boy, was he good. Boy, was he good. Sean Mack says, Major Payne, bro, how in the hell you not mention that movie as a GOAT? Major Payne was a hell of a movie, but I would put any Sandler movie up against Major Payne. I would put any of those 4 Sandler movies up against Major Payne. But Major Payne was funny as hell, too. You're right. That is a good movie. John Perez says, does Ben McAdoo get a 3rd season in New York? Because I can't see that happening. And do you see Jerry Reese also getting canned at the end of the year? Ben McAdoo is gone at the end of this season. Jerry Reese may survive. He may survive this season. But if they want to clean house, get a new GM to pick his own head coach, I could see that happening. But for some reason, I think Jerry Reese is going to survive. BE says, hey, everyone, how's the weather down there below me? Hey, I can't wait till I catch your ass, BE. Boy, I can't wait. Just like Smokey and Craig catching that little boy that used to knock over the trash can. I can't wait to catch your ass, boy. Michael Thompson said, that boy good. I can't wait to catch your ass, BE. When I do, you going to know it too. John Perez says, are the 49ers' recent failures owner Jet York's fault for choosing Trent Baalke over Harbaugh? I think it was a stupid move to fire him. I thought at one point Jet York was the worst owner / vice president of any football team in the National Football League. He's an idiot at times. He's very pompous. He thinks he knows, but he has no idea. And he just needs to move out of the way and let football guys run the football operation. And that's what he's doing right now with John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan. He finally has allowed someone to run the football operations and just move the hell out of the way. And sometimes as an owner, you just need to glide to the side and let the football guys handle the football operations. And I think he's finally doing that, and it's paying off dividends because they're going in the right direction. Cloud says, I don't know, man. That stuff wasn't being said until after they traded him. I think he was just an issue. He had an issue with Gase. Their team as a whole is inconsistent. I won't blame Ajayi for that fully. Well, I'm not saying he's going to have a problem with you guys, but he did have that didn't just come up. Adam Gase has had run-ins with Jay Ajayi going back to last year. So this isn't the first time I've heard of Adam Gase having an issue with Jay Ajayi, health-wise, work ethic-wise. Ajayi would be upset about amount of carries and voice his frustration. And Adam Gase had a problem with him trying to bounce everything and not getting what's there. And so there was a rift between those two, no doubt. But it didn't just start. This has been an ongoing problem between the two. Reese says, the wedding singer was not only hilarious, Lou, it was a brilliant story told. Absolutely. That's what makes a great movie. Not only is it funny, but the plot of the movie must match the hilariousness of the movie. And I thought it was a great mixture of a great movie, but also with a lot of laughs along the way. Vegeta's Dark Side says, Sandler just got repetitive towards the latter part of his career, in my opinion. He got repetitive, and he got older, and he got softer. You have kids, you don't want to cuss as much, you don't want to be as vulgar as you once were. Things change. Once you have kids, you become softer. We saw it with Eddie Murphy. You see it with all the great comedians. That's what happens. Mr. TNA says, how are you team draft picks in 2017 doing until now? Uh, they're okay. They haven't been great. We've had some hits and misses. Jonathan Allen was outstanding before the injury. I was never a fan of our second round pick, Ryan Anderson. And he hasn't done much of anything. Third round pick, Fabian Moreau. He looks like he's got a very bright future in this league. Fourth round pick, Monte Nicholson, safety out of Michigan State, has been a revelation. He's been outstanding this year. He looks like he's going to be a beast. So I'd say, and Samaje Perine, he's been okay. I didn't love that pick either, but we'll see. It's been an okay draft. I don't have, and Chase Rouillet, our fifth or sixth round pick, and Jeremy Sprinkle, the tight end, they both look like they may have a future with this team moving forward. And even our seventh round pick, a corner out of Auburn, Joshua Halsey, even looks like he may have a future with our team. So I think we'll be okay. Cloud says, we'll see, though. We have a better line, so he should do better. We'll see. Sean Mack says, anything with that smoking hot Drew Barrymore is okay with me. I hear you, man. Jazzy E says, my Astros won, but hopefully Deshaun Watson can get us a one now. What do you think? Not this year necessarily, I hope, though. Anything's possible, but I don't think your defense is good enough this year with all the injuries. That's what's going to stop you. I said it on your video on lockdown coverage versus the Seahawks. Deshaun Watson got here a year too late, and it's a shame. FBG Tony says, Reese and McAdoo are fired. Trust me, Eli, bitch ass, getting traded for a 7th round pick. I've heard Eli getting traded a bunch of late. I don't see that happening. But McAdoo is gone for real. I don't know about Reese yet. BK Soldier 2010 says, what would be the best route for the Jags to take at QB, free agency or the draft? Just depends. You're going to win 7 to 9 games this year. So you're not going to be in the top 10 like you are accustomed to. So you may have to go the free agent route. But it just depends on what's out there. Your team is ready to win now. So free agency might be the best route for now. But eventually you need, you can put a Band-Aid on it, but eventually you need surgery. And you're going to need to draft a quarterback. So I would love it if they did both. Get a veteran that has proven that he can get it done to come in and help you now, and draft a guy that can sit and learn behind that veteran for the future. Reese says, did you ever see Nothing to Lose? It has, of course I've seen it. He says, it's one of the most underrated comedies of all time. It was a good movie. Blue Streak was funnier. But Sean Mack says, you got to get past my country ass first, bro. If you do, I'll let you borrow my 20 bird shot for BE's ass. In any event, we're going to get his ass. All right. BE says, might want to save those 20 shots for the Browns front office. Hashtag 0-16. Mr. TNA says, what was your first Redskin thing that you bought? My mom bought me a Mark Ripken outfit set. Came with a helmet, some pants, and like a Hutch shirt. And we won the Super Bowl that year. Sports Fury says, 49ers get their first win this week. You're on to something there. I'm about to give you my picks here in a second. But you're on to something there, my man. John Perez says, I agree with your point on the Redskins report on Tuesday that it's stupid to tank away your season rather than fight to the death and try to finish at or near 500. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But we will see. You know, some teams think of it differently. I don't understand how you can think that that's a smart move. No matter how desperate you are for a quarterback, it just doesn't make any sense. And I think it'll be almost impossible for teams to tank because NFL coaches are coaching for their livelihoods every week. And if I remember one year, Raheem Morris, I didn't think he was going to get fired. And then the Bucs didn't win another game that season. They lost like 10 straight. And he got iced at the end of the year. And it was because he lost the locker room, and they weren't tanking, but you lose that many games in a row, you get fired. Michael Thompson says, best draft class in the entire NFL goes to the Saints. I told you they had one of the best drafts along with Indy and Cincinnati, but the problem is in Indy, they can't get on the field because their coach is a clown. And in Cincinnati, their guys haven't been able to stay healthy. But the Saints had one of the most talented draft classes for sure. John Perez says, are Flacco and John Harbaugh done in Baltimore if they miss the playoffs again? A lot of people are soured on Flacco lately. No, Harbaugh isn't going anywhere. Flacco, however, could be on the outs if he doesn't turn things around this season. Mr. TNA says, what do you think is the team everyone is sleeping on this season? Right now, I think the team everybody's sleeping on is the Vikings, just because they don't win pretty. And they're in a division right now that's up for grabs with no Aaron Rodgers. I think people are dismissing them because if Aaron Rodgers didn't get hurt, they think that the Packers would win that division. And so they're quietly going about their business. It's not pretty. And when Case Keenum is your quarterback, it's never pretty. But week after week, they continue to win. And so I think Minnesota right now is that team for me. Vegeta's Dark Side says, what about the Bad Boys movie franchise? Yeah, they're awesome too. Those are hilarious movies. Right along with like Rush Hour 1 and maybe 2. Bad Boys 1 and 2, Rush Hour 1 and 2. They're up there. Yeah. BK Soldier says, Cousins probably coming to the Jags if the Jags decide to pull the trigger on that. We'll see what happens with that. I don't know if he's going to Jacksonville or not. There's so many options for him, though. We'll see. National Security was funny, Lou. He says, Reese says, it was all right. I wasn't a huge fan of that. I'm not a huge Steve Zahn fan. I'm not a really big fan of his. Mr. TNA says, David Johnson and AP will not let the Niners get their first win. So you say, and that's a perfect segue to my picks. So, with that being said, I'm going to wrap it up tonight. Stay here a lot longer than I thought I would after getting off to a late start, but nonetheless, you know how these late nights go. We start talking about other stuff. We talk football and we talk about stuff around football, and that's what we did tonight. Always fun. And I can't wait till I can do that with you guys on a more consistent basis, and I may actually have a format for that next year. We'll see, but in any event, thank you for joining me tonight. This was pretty cool, man. It's always pretty cool kicking it with you guys, chopping it up, and talking about everything under the sun. With that being said, if it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here on the Louie T Network. Come back and join me as I continue to break down anything and everything in the National Football League. Remember, if you can donate, please donate to the channel. I appreciate each and every single one of you and your support. And I need you to take your support to the next level and donate. My card just died on me. I need donations, folks. In any event, here are my Week 9 winners as I leave you with this. You better be smart with your picks. This is not like weeks 7 and 8. Week 9, it's going to take a little bit more skill if you want to be in the winner's circle. I leave you with that caveat. As I leave you with these winners, you guys have a blessed night. Thank you for joining me on another late night here on Winners and Losers. Have a good one. All right. So your man Louie T is starting to heat up, and eventually I knew it would happen. And I'm starting to make that move like a thoroughbred on the outside, looking to make that move to the front of the line as we go around that half point of the track, I feel like I'm starting to hit my stride, and I'm ready to go take what's rightfully mine, and that's the top spot, because that's what it's all about, winning. That's all I know. So I'm ready to go, much faster than slow, to go and get what's mine. And I've been having some trouble with Thursday night football, and that's where we're going to start in week number 9. Bills at Jets. A little bit of AFC East family business. You know how the family do it. And these two teams going in opposite directions. Jets had won 3 in a row. Now they've lost 2 in a row. They're 3-5. Bills, meanwhile, playing some outstanding football. Winners of 3 straight, 5-2 on the season. And they feel damn good about themselves. Just traded for Kelvin Benjamin. That's going to bolster their offense. He should not be able to really help them this week. In fact, I don't expect him to play this week. That doesn't really matter, though. That's not going to impact the outcome any. This may shock you a little bit, but I've got the Jets taking this one at home. They're going to win another game or two, and they're going to be in the division. And the Bills struggle with this Jets team, believe it or not, especially in New York. And I've got an eerie feeling that this Jets team, they've been playing some close football, competitive football, and now it's time for them to get another win. And it's going to be in the division. Why not the Bills, who have struggled this season on the road? They've been outstanding at home, but their 2 losses on the season have both come on the road in close fashion. I could easily see them losing another close one at home. I'll get the Jets here on Thursday night for the upset in week number 9. As you go to the Sunday slate of games, Falcons at Panthers, NFC South family business, and this is of the highest priority right now because the Saints look like they're for real. And I think there's going to be one of these 2 teams between the Panthers and the Falcons that are going to fall off. And with the trade of Kelvin Benjamin, I think the Panthers may have declared that they're the team that's looking to drop off in this divisional race. And so I don't have a lot of confidence in this. I didn't have a lot of confidence in this Panthers team to begin with. They struggle to score. They can't run the football. They just don't look right offensively. They haven't figured out how to use McCaffrey nor Samuels. They're struggling with that aspect of their offense. They desperately could use Greg Olsen, back in this lineup, but he's not ready to come back yet. And so I expect them to continue to struggle on the offensive side of football. Meanwhile, the Falcons, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, they're starting to figure things out. They're still a work in progress, but I think they're a lot further along in their journey than the Panthers are. I'll take the Falcons on the road to find a way to get it done and stay close to the New Orleans Saints in this NFC South division. As you go to the next game, Indianapolis at Houston. What more can I say? What more can I say? Deshaun Watson's playing out of his mind, and this Texans football team, while they're not the same team defensively, they don't need to be against the Indianapolis Colts, who find it tough to score themselves. Jacoby Brissett giving it all he's got, and it's a valiant effort, but week in, week out, it's not enough. It's not going to be enough on the road versus Houston. Give me the Texans to take care of that AFC South family business. You go to the next matchup, Cincinnati at Jacksonville. I'm really torn in this game. Not because I think Cincinnati is any good or going to go to Jacksonville and win, and I'm really torn over who to pick, but rather Jacksonville had a nice flow going before the bye, and it was easy to predict. Ass whooping, dished out one week, lost the next week. Ass whooping, dished out the next week, lost the next week. And that was a continuing trend. Well, they last left off dishing out an ass whooping within the division. But in doing that, they went on a bye. So now I don't know what to do. Do I count the bye as a loss week and now we're back to a winning week? Or do I skip the bye, count this as a loss week, and then we pick back up where we left off? I don't know the answer to that. It makes me nervous. I could get this wrong just because I get wrong the week that it is for this Jaguars team. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the bye week counted as a loss week, and they're going to come off the bye. They get Leonard Fournette back. This is an ass-whooping week. Give me the Jags coming off the bye to dispose of the Cincinnati Bengals. I feel good. Final answer. Let me see if that's the right answer. You go to the next one. Tampa Bay at New Orleans. More family business. This of the NFC South variety. So all 4 NFC South teams facing off against one another in week number 9. So a little bit more distance being able to be put between them and everybody else if they can get it done. And so I expect them being the Saints, to take care of business against a Bucs team that is all kinds of banged up, searching for answers. They're lost right now. They don't know what's wrong offensively. They don't know what's wrong defensively. They just know it's not good. And I know that the Saints are good enough at home to get it done. A team that's building confidence on the defensive side of the football. And I expect them to take care of business at home. Give me the Saints to extend the win streak to 6 games and go to 6-2 on the season with a win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's go to the next matchup. Two teams coming off of a bye. Rams at Giants. The Giants left in their last game going into the bye as a funky team. They come out of the bye as an equally as funky team, and add to the mix that Janoris Jenkins, the Jackrabbit, not going to get to see his old mates in this game, makes them even worse in this football game. I'll take the Rams and that high-scoring offense to dispose of the Giants quite easily in New York. Give me the Rams on the road. Denver at Philadelphia. Quarterback change here for the Broncos. Brock Osweiler in and Trevor Siemian out. Does that really matter? We're going to find out. I'm a B.O. fan. I think B.O. can play quarterback better than he's shown, and I think he got a raw deal in Houston. Was he good? No. But did they tailor the offense to his skill set like they've done for Deshaun Watson? Absolutely not. So I think this is an opportunity for him to show, hey, I'm not trash. I just didn't have a good situation in Houston or in Cleveland. And so they can compete in this game. Their defense is good enough. They're just not good enough as a team to beat this Philadelphia Eagles team on the road. I'll take the Eagles to continue playing some of the best football in the National Football League. Eagles at home. I'll take them all day long over the Denver Broncos. Baltimore Ravens at the Tennessee Titans. Joe Flacco scheduled to play in this game, but the Titans are coming off of a bye, so are the Baltimore Ravens. Bottom line is, or actually the Ravens played on Thursday. Doesn't matter. The Titans, they're the better team here, and as long as they don't throw up all over themselves, look, that Ravens defense can ratchet it up, but as long as the Titans find a way to score 17 points, they should be just fine in this game. I'll take the Titans at home to get it done versus the Baltimore Ravens. Arizona Cardinals at the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers are due for a victory. And remember, I told you, when they get it, it's coming against a team in the division. They almost beat this same Arizona Cardinals team last time these two teams played. They just fell short in overtime. This time, no Carson Palmer. They're in trouble. They should be able to win this game. If you can't beat a Carson Palmerless Arizona Cardinals team at home, then I don't know when you plan on winning this season. Give me the San Francisco 49ers to win this game. And it's not going to be Jimmy Garoppolo. He can't be ready to play yet. But it doesn't matter whether it's C.J. Beathard or it's Billy Ho. Well, they released Billy Ho, so it's got to be C.J. Beathard. But it doesn't matter who it is. They're going to do enough to win this game. Give me the 49ers to get their first victory of the season and get off the schneid. Redskins at Seahawks. No brainer. The Redskins don't even have enough players to field a team. I'm kidding, but it seems like I should be serious. They're all kinds of banged up, going to the wrong place. And like a Seahawks fan told me earlier today, wrong place, wrong time. Sorry, dude. He's right. Seattle in this game, big. I'll take the home team to destroy the road team in that one as the Seattle Seahawks look to go and find a way to win that NFC West division. Kansas City at Dallas. Kansas City Chiefs. Look, still don't know the results of the Zeke Elliott suspension, and at this point, I don't care. All right? At some point, that's going to have some finality. At the end of the day, the Chiefs are the better team here. The Cowboys aren't good defensively. The Chiefs aren't great defensively, but I think they're good enough to at least slow this Cowboys offense down with or without Zeke Elliott. It'll be a lot easier without him, but with him, it'll be a little bit of a challenge. But I think that Chiefs offense can score at will on this Cowboys defense, and that will be the difference. I'll take the Chiefs on the road to dispose of the Dallas Cowboys as we move on to the next game. Sunday Night Football, the Oakland Raiders taking on the Miami Dolphins. Last time we saw the Dolphins, they got their asses absolutely handed to them, okay? Then they go and they trade Jay Ajayi, and it makes it seem as if this team is in total disarray. I disagree. All that simply was that Dolphin shit. I've told you once, told you again, I'll tell you once more. That's that Dolphin shit. And you know what else is some Dolphin shit? Them winning after looking like an absolute clown show the week prior. They're going to win this game against the Raiders, who, if you're talking dysfunctional and disarray, you're talking about the Oakland Raiders right now. They have no idea if they're coming or going on the offensive side of the football, and their defense is just as bad as it was last year. Look for the Dolphins to have a bounce-back game at the crib versus these Raiders. Give me the Dolphins at home to dispose of the Oakland Raiders. And finally, Monday Night Football, NFC North family business. If these two teams say they ain't did it, then they ain't did it. But if they did, well, that's family business. And of course, I'm talking Detroit Lions, Detroit Lions at the Green Bay Packers. This is the game where I expect Mr. Hundley, Brett Hundley, that is, to finally look like an NFL quarterback. They've had a bye week to install a lot more plays that he's comfortable with. I expect him to get work with all of the receivers, get on the same page, a lot of practice time, a lot of timing, getting down with the likes of Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, and Devontae Adams. That being said, they're going to look like a much better team. And oh, by the way, they can run it now. Now, on the flip side of that, the Lions are pretty stingy against the run, but the Packers are doing a really good job of running the football. They should be getting some of their offensive linemen back in this game. I expect the Packers to look like the team that I expected them to look like 2 weeks ago before their bye when they lost to the Saints. At home, Monday night, 2 weeks to prepare, Brett Hundley will look like a real NFL quarterback and lead the Packers to victory over the Detroit Lions. I feel good about that. If he doesn't look like the guy that I anticipated 2 weeks ago and in this game, then I give up on Brett Hundley and therefore I give up on the Packers until Aaron Rodgers is back. That being said, I have confidence in Mike McCarthy getting this young man ready to look like a professional quarterback in this game, which should be enough to get it done at home versus the Lions. Give me the Green Bay Packers. So, quickly, to recap, Jets, Falcons, Texans, Jags, Rams, Saints, Eagles, Titans, Niners, Seahawks, Chiefs, Dolphins, and Packers. Sounds like some winners to me. I've been double digits the last 2 weeks, and last week I only had one game on my record as a blemish. Dare I say another 12-1 week, maybe 11-2. Okay? But in any event, I'm looking for double digits. I'm on my horse now. I'm on my giddy up. So here I come. Ready or not, here I come. You can't hide. BE and the rest of y'all that are in front of me, I'm going to find you and take what's rightfully mine. You've been warned. You guys have been put on notice. Send me those pics. You got mine. I'll see you next week.